Hello, everyone. So today I'm going to talk about the differences between artificial turf or artificial grass and natural grass. The pros and cons of artificial grass, the pros and cons of natural grass. What is better for sports and sports fields? What's better to play on? What makes the most sense for certain groups, professional teams, high schools, club teams, things like that. So first, I want to talk about artificial grass. So artificial grass is mostly made of synthetic materials such as nylon, polyethylene, and polypropylene. So nylon is mostly used for artificial grass that's going to be um, used for businesses to make like a garden type or a zen parks and things like that, or to have at home just to have a nice natural grass field without having actual real natural grass. And the next is polypropylene, which is used as an alternative to lawns or used on golf courses, and it's again trying to simulate natural grass, but it's a little bit softer than the nylon, and that's why it's used on golfs or for lawns because it looks like grass, but it doesn't really feel like grass. Um, but it's a little softer than the nylon. Now the last one is polyethylene, which is the one that we're going to focus mostly on, and that's the one that's used on athletic fields. Those are the ones that are used to make soccer fields, American football fields, baseball fields, and things like that. Now, natural grass is obviously natural. You grow the grass, and there are different types of grass. So, grass that's used for different sports, you know, or different climates. For example, in the South, usually for football fields, they use a type of grass called Bermuda grass, which is known to withstand hotter temperatures and hotter climates. In the North, where it's a little bit more colder, they have perennial ryegrass, and yeah, like for example, in England, with their soccer fields, they take care of it, and they have specific grass that is made for that climate, which is cold and rainy, wet climates. Now, going into the pros and cons of artificial grass and natural grass. So, for artificial grass, the pros are that it's very versatile. So, you can have one field and have multiple lines painted on that field, and it can be used for multiple sports. For example, high schools use a lot of artificial grass on their football stadiums because they can put soccer field lines on it, they could put lacrosse field lines on them, and depending on the season, that field can still be used. So if it's in the fall when there's football, they can use that field. Soccer in the winter or lacrosse in the spring, and it's very versatile because there's not a lot of maintenance. You don't have to continue painting, cutting the grass and things like that. And now the cons of artificial grass are injuries. So players who are playing on artificial grass are more likely to get injured. More, I believe it was 70% more likely to get their tear the ACL or have injuries related to their knees than playing on natural grass. And the reason why is because artificial grass has more grip for players that are wearing cleats, so it doesn't allow players to slip and fall as much, which help prevent injuries, as well as turf burns. Me as a goalkeeper that plays soccer a lot, sliding and diving a lot, so I get turf burns all throughout my legs, on my thighs, my forearms, and things like that. And if you are going to be playing on artificial grass, there's protective gear, but it's expensive. We're talking about $70 for an undershirt and another $70 for a long padded underpants. So you don't get these turf burns. You don't get hurt as often. Now, now we're going to go and talking about the natural grass. Pros of natural grass. So the pros of natural grass is that it's the perfect playing surface, especially when it's well maintained, well manicured, well cut. There's nothing better to play on than natural grass because it allows you to have the natural feel of the soft ground. So when you're playing, you're sliding and especially when it's a little bit wet, it allows you to run a faster, more confident, and have better grip than if artificial grass. Now, the cons of it is that it's very, very expensive to maintain. A lot of water is used to maintain natural grass fields because it's natural. It's a plant. It's grass, um, and you have to cut it every so often. You have to repaint the lines. I play on a club team that has I coach on a club team that has a natural grass field, and we have to maintain it every week. And it's not the perfect field. It's probably one of the best fields around the North Bay, the peninsula area, but it's still not very, very nice. A lot of maintenance goes into natural grass fields. Um, there's also now mixed playing surface fields. So, for example, I just went to an Earthquakes game, and I know their stadium has what they call a mixed surface playing field. And what that means that it's mostly natural grass, where they have a bed of sand under the surface, the dirt that has the natural grass growing, and within the sand, within the that surface, they wove in some artificial grass blades to kind of help make it easier to maintain, and it also makes them more versatile for that stadium for the field use. So it's 97% natural grass, 3% artificial grass. And with that, it allows you to water the field. It's easier to maintain, and especially with different climates, you know how it's very hot today. Watering the field won't make it as dry with that mixed playing ground. But then again, that's very, very expensive, and only pro teams are pretty much the only ones that can afford to maintain a field like that. So, in conclusion, artificial turf and natural grass are great for different reasons, and not so great for different reasons. They both have their pros and cons. Artificial grass is great for public fields. So if there's like multiple fields at a city where kids go and play every weekend, it's not as expensive to maintain, and it's not as and it withstands more, especially with weather, and just continuous beating the field and playing on the field. So instead of having to maintain it every week, you could probably maintain it once a month, and that just includes just getting the roller out there and getting more rubber material to make it to simulate like if it's natural grass. Natural grass is probably much better to play on if it's professionally and well maintained by someone who works with lawns and grass. So to conclude, my friend always used to say, the worst turf field is better and will always be better than the worst grass field, but the best grass field will always be better than the best turf field. Yeah, and so, yeah, with that, I conclude my video. Thank you very much.